audience. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the recording of the stream, because none of you are already here because we didn't start the stream until immediately when we were ready to start talking. This is the second stream in a row that I'm not at home running, so we're doing things in a jankier way just because I'm not good at planning. So I haven't set up the structures in advance for people to run the stream the way I run it when I'm not here. And we've done all of the administration, figuring out how we're going to get the stream to actually happen in the half an hour before the stream happens. So welcome to Monday night. We don't know what we're talking about. I believe we're leading off with TikTok Nazis.
Oh, okay. I was going to deflect completely to the other side, and I was just going to say Pixar stole my identity. But we can start there.
There's just been a rise of TikTok Nazis who are not catching bans or violations for any of the things they're doing. They are actively harassing minority groups. And as a result, several Jewish creators who are, for the most part, their content is educational, have been permabanned, have had their accounts completely taken away from them. For instance, that Jewish feminist who has been emailing TikTok about it has proof that it was in fact neo-Nazis reporting her account, and they will not give it back. They have decided that, nope, somehow this is her fault.
Yes.
So
maybe Thursday, since it's right after Purim, we should Thursday stream should be just a bunch of Jews bitching. On the stream. Sorry, it was an indirect quote of Falsettos the musical, which has a song in it called "For Jews Bitchin'."
I'm not going to say we shouldn't do that. I may need to host that one from backstage and let one of you take point on doing the analysis and stuff, because I am not Jewish and I am not comfortable jumping into that scene.
I am very Jewish and also very good at bitching, so
I know, bitch. But also, the best thing about that song in Falsettos is that they basically just say bitchy, 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 bitchy over and over and over again.
Yes.
I will say the only bit of Jewish TikTok that I've been getting lately. Have you guys seen the discourse on whether body shots are?
Yes, yes, because Jen is on that TikTok. My Catholic roommate is on that part of TikTok, so she keeps sending them to me in text messages. I've learned more about kashrut in the last week because of body shots, and I kept kosher for the first 16 years of my life.
I just like that I have been tagged in that post. I have sent to me by 4 or 5 different people that are all connected in some way.
Micah, there are at least 3 posts.
Oh, I know. I've been tagged in literally all of them. The first one where we started off, the second one where we talk about how the rabbis have responded, and then the third one where we talk about, is it really an issue of kashrut or is it an issue of shomer negia and
okay, so have you guys not?
Wait, I haven't seen the shomer negia one.
Have you guys not seen the one with the textual evidence from the Book of Songs that King Solomon did body shots?
That's the last one, whether it's a shomer negia / yeah.
Right.
I didn't realize that it was Shomer Negia was in the same one as the. So Shomer Negia is the super religious, when women don't touch until married.
Yeah, you can't touch people of an opposite gender unless you are married. In which case,
even if you are courting them,
if you're straight, you can do body shots off your spouse. That's fine.
No, that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one where there's literally a passage in the text that says that King Solomon literally did body shots off a person.
Yeah. What spurred that conversation was the conversation about shomer negia.
Right. No, but those were 2 separate TikToks.
Wow. I don't know, man. I have literally been tagged in every kosher video that this person does, and I love it. But they also show up organically on my For You page, so I've already seen them by the time I'm tagged. I love that
you're just that Jewish that it knows. Meanwhile, I am not on Jewish TikTok at all, and I'm from Long Island.
I mean, listen, I can get you there. I just have to send you some stuff.
Also,
let's see if you can get me there without me scrolling on the FYP. Let's see how long it takes.
streaming logistics point. I can't see chat because I'm working out of my cell phone. So if there are people in chat saying stuff, do please pull their comments up onto screen if you want to comment on them so that I can read them.
Absolutely, I'm an old hat at this. Right now we've got Michael. Who's asking why milk is different than wine, which just sounds like the 4 questions. But yeah, if we'd like to continue in chaos with Max, hold up, I'm timing my thing that I shouldn't do right now.
I did come across a video about fermented milk and how that can make a pretty potent alcohol. And that's all I remember about it. I just fully blanked out the rest of the conversation because I was like, fermented milk?
Tangentially related to Jewish TikTok. Pixar's new movie, the best friend of the main character in Turning Red. This is Miriam. She is a 13-year-old Jewish girl with my legal name. With green eyes, brown hair, a green beanie, and a green flannel, and wears green pants and a t-shirt. Quite literally ripping off everything that I was when I was 13, to the point where I sent Jen this photo yesterday morning and said, I think I'm going to be watching Turning Red today. And Jen replied with, I think that's identity theft.
Max got much cooler identity theft than you.
Yeah.
So, also, the most important thing about this character is that she is wearing a friendship bracelet.
Oh my god!
I have already made it. I made it. We had to pause the film yesterday, and I then had to spend like half an hour fixating on which colors to pull so that I can make it. So you can actually purchase replicas of the Turning Red friendship bracelets on Mix Max Knickknacks, and I have a friend that works at Pixar, and I'm going to be sending them to Pixar.
That's funny.
Nice. For folks in chat who might not already know, and for Rachel, do you want to give a quick update on like why the friendship bracelets are significant?
That's like my other channel, Mix Max Knickknacks. It's also like how I became a member of Toka. Mix Max Knickknacks, which is the umbrella brand that is Summer of String, which was my original brand, is my Etsy shop, my friendship bracelet business that I made in 2013 that I sort of burned out from halfway through the pandemic. And so I actually have not been able to make a friendship bracelet in over a year and a half. And yesterday was the first day I was able to make a friendship bracelet since then, and it was purely because of this Pixar movie. Instead, I've been cross-stitching, 3D printing, making stickers, doing everything but making friendship bracelets.
Doing that ADHD hop from hobby to hobby.
Yeah, I learned how to etch glass at some point in 2020. I've gone through two 3D printers. One was just so cheap that I learned how the pieces work, and I still have it in my closet so that I can play around and take it apart and like learn how it works. Because I've always been the kind of autistic kid that like was afraid to take things apart because I didn't want to not be able to put them back together. But
I also just want to throw this in here for like a little bit more depth of the context. Max has an independent license to make Orphan Black friendship bracelets because their Orphan Black friendship bracelets were such a big deal in the fandom, and those bracelets have been worn by members of the cast.
And they were featured in the final episodes of the television show. They may or may not be one of the main characters' symbol of their redemption arc in the 5th season.
That's cool.
It's all very cool. And I really want folks in the audience who aren't already familiar with Dory to understand why Miriam having a friendship bracelet on is so fucking perfect.
I can go get it. Get the one that I made. Here, you entertain the audience. I'll be right back.
Love it. Love it so much.
I'm a very casual friend
over
there.
Oh yeah.
My students got me back into it.
So for folks, it occurs to me that we don't do introductions ever on this stream, and that's probably something we should start doing, because hypothetically we may occasionally have viewers who are not the same 6 viewers who come to every stream. But tonight in particular, there's somebody who nobody on stream knows. This is my friend Rachel. Personal.papers on TikTok if you want to check it out there. Yes, they're cool. And I'm hanging out at this place right now. On the trip.
Hello, I have returned.
Also, they also recently suffered from identity theft.
Like an hour ago.
Oh no, like actual identity theft or Pixar
My
identity
Venmo
theft?
got taken over, so I had to do that whole fun thing.
Yeah. We spent most of today on hold with banks.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm so sorry.
But,
Over the weekend, I learned that the bank account that I've been putting off setting up for taxes, since I have crazy taxes this year, I could have done months ago on my phone.
Okay, see, all right. So Michael just posted in the chat saying that there are some background sounds or a rolling sound or something, and I'm not sure what it is. It's my cats, and I was literally about to ask if you all can hear that, because
I was gonna say it may also be me chewing or my roommate in the shower.
yeah, I keep putting the toy on the opposite side of the apartment. They're like, screw that, I'm coming right behind you, and they scooch it all the way back across the apartment. I will attempt to move it.
Is it one of those like rings with a little ball in it?
Might as well just bring us the kitties.
That's how I feel about it. It is!
Hey, Micah.
Yeah.
You want to grab Morbid Curiosity?
So I would, but we've actually burned through all of the cards.
Okay, but we get people here who aren't usually on stream when we burn through them.
This is true. We can
I don't think that we've ever gotten past one. Oh, but I did bring show and tell. So here's the bracelet that I made in granted, I was watching a new movie for the first time, and we watched a documentary. So it took me about 2 hours yesterday, but I could probably make it in half an hour. And this took me 2 months, and I accidentally taught myself how to embroider in the process.
So we can do Morbid Curiosity, or we can do the pop culture nonsense one.
I like that. That sounds like fun.
I figured.
I feel like you should mix and match.
Yeah.
We can do that. I can pull one card and then pull it that.
Yeah, I feel like we need to
do that.
What happens if we mix and match? Pull one of each and see how they jive. Why did I just say that word? That felt totally.
Let me find a random spot in here so it's not the ones that we've most recently answered.
I have put it back over on the completely opposite side. I am pleased also to say that for once, Coco is just sitting and chilling and content. One of my neighbors is moving out, and they were like, I saw 2 really adorable cats in your window. Would you like a cat tree? And I'm like, say less. Thank you. You don't want to move it? I will gladly take it. So she made herself at home. I'll have to post a picture in the Discord later or something, because
Are they doing better? They Justin ish, not a stream conversation.
Yes. No. Yeah.
All right. Let's pull a card. We'll do some mixing and matching. But the first one is: would you attend a seance?
Yes.
And what question would you ask to somebody that's on the other side?
I got nothing.
I don't know that I would. 2 reasons.
I
One, I've
haven't
watched
seen
too
this
many scary movies with
What is
seances.
that?
And all that stuff. And then the other reason was that this one time when I was at a sleepover and they were like, we need to do spooky stuff. And they brought out tarot cards and did Ouija boards. And I'm like, I got this wicked headache. And I'm like, I'm going to assume it's that. So I'm like, this just without more information, I'm just going to put this in that nope zone. And like, if I ever get more information, maybe I'll change my mind. But until then, nope.
The pandemic has changed for me the definition of spooky stuff. Granted, I am the living embodiment of spoopy to the point where I'm a Halloween baby and I'm afraid of everything.
Yes, the Luigi board.
So, like, the Luigi board. This
Yeah, if
is
seen
what
the video. It's fantastic.
I have seen the Luigi board, and I want it.
So, like, spooky stuff, no, but tarot and, like, I feel like a seance or, like that doesn't feel like spooky stuff anymore. That just, like, I've spent too much time on the outskirts of witch talk.
I feel like the funniest question to ask would be which religion was right.
See,
oh yeah, I forgot about the follow-up question. Same.
Presupposing that, like, there's an other side where these ghosties get to interact with one another or whatever they are. Whoever I was talking to, I would ask them to do me a favor.
Okay.
The favor would be to find ghost version of Alexander Graham Bell and punch him directly in the face.
Okay.
Now, would you like to elaborate on why?
I was going to say I have guesses. I would like the actual answer.
Oh, no, wait, I know what I would ask.
I don't want guesses. I just want to know why.
I know what I would really ask. I would ask, if you were buried less than 6 feet under, does your head scrape the ground when you stand up?
This again.
What is this question?
I feel like I've missed something.
The question presupposes that, like, if the other side is essentially a mirror to our side.
No, not a mirror. Just literally, like, when you are buried, your spirit, like, stands up, and the new ground plane for you, for the whole world, is at the level of your coffin. So that's why we bury people 6 feet under, so that they have enough room that they're not scraping their heads on the inside of the ground when they stand up.
What about giants, though?
What about somebody like what if somebody's like 6'3"?
Yeah, we should be burying those people deeper. It's very rude that we don't.
You're insane. I love you. You're insane.
The worst part is I've heard this shtick before, and it's fucking funny.
It's really funny.
See, the thing that, like, every time I think about this, my brain goes to the, like, serial killer trope of buried in a shallow grave, and, like, leads me to think of, like, people who are victims of gruesome murders just, like, crawling around at eye level relative to all the other ghosts.
Since people are often buried on their back, does that mean some people have to just perpetually limbo themselves around?
I mean, I imagine that you can, like, roll over and crawl.
I don't know.
I'm imagining full bodily mobility in this space. It's just like a room where the floor is the depth of your burial and the ceiling is the ground.
Maybe that's why you have those, like, horror movie ghosts that crab walk. Because
Yeah.
they were on their back and they couldn't stand up all the way.
Is that a trope? Is that a horror movie trope?
Yeah.
Right,
Honestly,
right.
you could tell me anything is a horror movie trope and I wouldn't know the difference.
Listen,
And I'd probably believe you.
I watch a number of horror movies that would be concerning to some people.
So this is gonna sound like a weird sentence, but I work in theater in New York, so it's less weird with that context. I again afraid of everything, like afraid of Spy Kids as a child, afraid of everything. And so when I was an intern at the Public in college, there was a really big gala that like had like a full star-studded cast. And during the dinner break, Jesse L. Martin, who most people know from like Law and Order, but like I know because he was in Rent. We were talking about, we got on the subject of horror movies, and he was like, I would do that, but I would die first. And I had to genuinely ask why. because I did not know that killing people of color was a trope in horror movies, and I just looked like an idiot.
Huge trope.
There's only one category of person that gets killed off first or before them in horror films, and that is
it
whoever
the dumb bitch?
No, it's whoever most recently had sex on screen.
Yeah, sure.
What?
Mm-hmm. Nightmare on Elm Street. That's why friggin' what's his nuts dies in the bed first.
Oh, also, the Amityville is like a stop off the LAE by my parents' house, and I think about what could possibly have happened that this is still a place, but also a name of a horror movie.
I mean, I think it's just because it's a whole ass town. Like, you don't change the name of a town because someone wrote a book about you.
I don't know anything.
Like, imagine if they changed the name of Boston after the Boston Strangler.
That'd be really entertaining.
What would you change it to?
I don't know. Big Cambridge?
Big Cambridge.
Oh, listen,
Honestly, the best part
you say that, you will get beat up. There's like a weird turf war between Boston and Cambridge.
we're in Boston right now, so
Don't make me come over there.
Do it. Go over there right now.
Right.
By the time, how long would it take you? Would you be able to get there by the end of stream? I know Boston is stupid with cars.
How about Greater Southie?
Listen,
Lesser New York.
oh no.
Just to piss off Bostonians. My roommate is from Boston. He is not in the room right now.
Southwest, the Southwest quadrant. So,
I have the feeling this was in response to me, but Michael says Boston will smack you.
I will smack everyone in this chat. Doesn't matter how much I like you.
Yeah, I was thinking before the stream, but it occurred to me, since I was so close, I could have come over and we could have streamed from the same place. It's occurring to me during the stream that would have been a bad idea and unsafe for me.
That's really true. You have a tendency to say things that, like, the threats of violence would be a little too close to home.
Yeah, but then we'd get to see the two of you in person on screen.
I could just like turn it on.
When Cecilia mentioned on Saturday that you were going to be in Boston, I was like, "Oh, is TX going to meet Micah?" And
No.
she's like, "No." And I was like,
No, this was...
Once again, I did not get to meet Nick.
Oh, did Nick not go to the thing?
No.
Someday you'll meet him.
I'm gonna probably go to Queens this weekend because I want to pet the puppers. Cecilia doesn't know that yet. We hadn't invited her over for brunch, but Jen's gonna go hang out with her nephew instead. So
Nice. I am gonna pull one of these dumb cards.
okay, what you got?
Animal sidekick characters in Disney films.
What about them?
It's just the discussion topic. It's kind of
it's me. I relate to all of them. Which one of them does not make you immediately think of, if this was my friend, it would be, and insert anybody other than me?
Listen, I would argue that I was going to say that Sebastian isn't you, but really you are a good mix of Sebastian and Flounder.
Yeah. But I definitely am Flounder.
Like, see, personally...
Question. I have a question. Is Dory an animal sidekick in Finding Nemo?
No.
I mean, because they're all fish.
Okay, fair. TX is a better Zazu.
Mm.
But I could say that I am perhaps Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah, I don't think Zazu is a sidekick.
See, personally...
And possibly also Rafiki.
I
think
feel
that's something that Zazu would say.
I feel like I am the flotsam and jetsam of the group.
Yes, but those aren't those are animal sidekicks, but those are villain animal sidekicks.
I never said they had to be the hero sidekick.
Fair. I am also Olaf. Not an animal, but still an animal sidekick.
I was just going to say, like, half of my favorite Disney movies growing up, right, are the ones that don't actually really have animal sidekicks, because it's
Chip
like...
feels like he fits in that category.
Who?
Chip.
I was immediately like Beauty and the Beast, right? Like Mrs. Potts, but she's not an animal, so I'm like, well, shit.
No, the only animal in Beauty and the Beast is the Ottoman.
The Ottoman, yeah.
The Ottoman's a dog.
I mean, the Ottoman is very relatable as a character for a character that is a dog that doesn't speak and runs around the entire time. But like Hey and any of them, they're all voiced by Alan Tudyk. But like,
have you seen the conspiracy theory that the reason that Alan Tudyk keeps getting to voice all of these animals is because he saw someone die on Disney property, so now he's contractually in every movie, so they just give him a bit role to keep him quiet. It's my favorite.
My favorite thing is the video of him recording something. I think it's Hey, where he's like, I went to Juilliard for this.
I love it. I love it so much.
And I'm like, if anybody could be using their Juilliard experience for anything in this world, it would be that.
The raccoon from Pocahontas.
I 100% thought you were going to say Guardians of the Galaxy. I know that's not even the right film company, but like...
No, it is. It is now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I again was thinking, because isn't there a raccoon in the animal anthropomorphic version of Robin Hood too? Or is that not Disney?
That's what I was thinking of.
Okay.
That is Disney. Wait, Robin Hood 2?
Is there a raccoon in that?
There's for sure a raccoon.
You sure?
Here's a good question. Is Spider Pig is technically a Disney animal sidekick?
Wait, is this...
Wait a minute.
Question. Spider Pig, the John Mulaney character from
That is it.
Or is it Spider Pig from the Simpsons movie?
This was also my question.
Well, the Simpsons movie, is that owned by Disney because of 20th Century now being a Disney property? But Sony
I don't know.
owns the rights.
I just wanted to segue into Spider Pig. Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't, because he's a pig.
I don't know if I've ever seen that, but I know every word. No, I'm pretty sure that John Mulaney's Spider Pig is significantly not part of MCU because it falls in that weird limbo of Sony owning the rights to Spider-Man.
I believe you are correct.
Because they were going to do, like, I read somewhere that they were going to do, like, crossover for, like, with Tom Holland Spider-Man, and then it just didn't end up in the movie or something. I feel like it's one of the things he accidentally said in an interview.
I mean, I'm sure they're canonically linked by way of Scooby-Doo somehow.
Probably.
By Scooby-Doo.
Another thing that I was irrationally afraid of as a child.
I'm sorry. I need a little bit more context on that.
So, again, we don't have to get into my parents, but there were lots of you can't watch XYZ on TV if it had fighting in it or anything that could possibly be considered fighting. So I was not allowed to watch Cartoon Network growing up. And then my brother was allowed the one exception, which was Scooby-Doo. But I did not understand, because it took 30 years to get an autism diagnosis, that the villains were all the same, like, just some dude wearing a mask. I thought that they were real. And
Yeah,
I was
and,
like,
like-
why do they keep walking into this? It's scary. Things are jumping out at them. And then it's always like I like could not process.
Defense.
And I think the term scared that I've used my whole life is actually a very dumbed down version of feeling. And by dumbed down, I mean autistic, not dumb. But like not knowing how to explain what I'm actually feeling, which was a tremendous amount of anxiety and like secondhand embarrassment.
In fairness, the Scooby-Doo movies feature actual monsters.
I remember seeing those because those came out, I think, when we were much older.
So
yeah, I think like to call it to say that you're irrationally afraid of Scooby-Doo, that feels like, I get that it's like a very tame show compared to like, I don't know, fucking Resident Evil, but like it is scary on purpose. Like they're going for scares. They're going for like scares for young children. But if you're scared of it when you're a young child, that's not an irrational response. That's the show doing the thing the show is supposed to do.
Yeah, but like I did not like being scared. I still don't like.
Yeah, no, that's totally reasonable. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have not enjoyed that.
As recently as like 6 months ago, I was watching a friend stream on Twitch just to give her some views, and she was playing some horror game, and the jump scare that made her jump made me jump, and then my heart was racing, but she was the one playing the video game, not me.
Yeah.
There are jump scares in games in like there were some jump scares in like I'm playing Hollow Knight right now. They weren't like intense jump scares, but they were like some sudden change of visual, and I was like, what?
It's a really good thing that we were not friends.
No, you would have tormented me. You would have tormented me.
When I was in college, I lived with three other girls, and we had 2 bathrooms that you could always hear when like someone left to go into the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this really terrible habit of like waiting to hear one of them go into the bathroom, going into their bedroom, hiding behind the door, and then waiting for them to come back and close the door, and just standing there and waiting to see how long it would take them to realize I was there. And it was its own kind of jump scare because I was a terrible person who did terrible things.
I used to do that to my siblings when I was like young.
No, Micah and I are very close in age. We're like, what, a couple of months? We're really only a couple of months apart, right?
Who, you and me?
Yeah.
What year were you born?
91. Yeah.
Same year.
Yeah.
You're a Halloween baby. Yeah, I'm only like 3 or 4 months older than you.
Yeah. So like, I have the feeling that like, had we like gone to Hebrew school together, you would have been the kid that I would have gone home to crying at because I just wanted to impress, and you were just mean to me because you liked me, but I could not read that you liked me and just was like, why is Micah so mean?
So here's the thing. If anyone else had been mean to you, though,
you would have fought them.
That has always been my rule, is like, I can be a terrible person, but if anyone else is a terrible person, no go.
I think that if this were the buddy comedy that it had the potential to be, of like, oh my god, that actually. Sorry, I just had the idea of 2 kids meeting in Hebrew school with my personality and Micah personality, and then just being like a sitcom that ran forever. And I was like, that's the most Jewish thing I've ever heard of, and I want it to exist.
It really is. Oh man.
And so where my thought was going before ADHD happened and an entire sitcom came about was I was gonna say there's a montage of learning how to fight.
Of course, because there's always a fight montage.
There's always a fight montage.
I want to check in with the audience real quick to let you know that you can back us on Patreon if you want. It funds this kind of nonsense, but also like actual research into TikTok. I'm going to ask one of my co-hosts to drop the link in chat. It's just
I think I did it right. I did it right. Also, if you have, I'm going to drop our Discord link in there. If you have over 1,000 followers, you're welcome to join us as a member. And if you do not, but you want to still be involved, get the streaming ping and whatnot, you can join us as an accomplice. while
We also recently did a number of talks with Arizona State University, with the Lincoln Center of Applied Ethics at Arizona State University, hosting TikTok creators from various marginalized groups. Those I think should be up on YouTube by now. I haven't checked yet because I'm not home, so I can't update the website anyway. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that we use the money on, and we'd really like to do more of it. So please back us, because we have ambitions that exceed our current funding.
True that. Are there any items that you would want to be buried or cremated with?
Sorry, the only thing I thought of was what other people would want to bury or cremate me with so that they wouldn't have to deal with it.
And I know this might sound a little bit creepy, but as a child, without getting too much into it, I could not sleep. I had nightmares all the time. And I still have my bedtime Care Bear right there. Like, it's going with me. And then probably my cat's ashes.
I recently did a TikTok on my alt account answering the question, like, what are the material components to summon you?
Ooh.
Fantastic.
Ooh, I want to answer this question. What are the
So, like, those are the first things that pop to mind for me. If you want my summoning ritual, it's you need a 10-foot by 10-foot black or gray cloth with a circle embroidered into it with blue, yellow, and red thread, a candle, some green dip pen ink, a nice piece of paper, a piece of fluorite worth at least 10 gold, or translate into non-D&D money as necessary. You'll also need a writing utensil and a small knife.
What about a large knife?
You can use a large knife, but that would be unwieldy for the purpose of the ritual.
Okay. Just curious.
Asking the important questions. I love it.
You also need an ounce of silver for every hour you intend for me to be there.
You have your weights.
Oh, this is in depth.
A gallon of cold, clean water, a grapefruit, and a deck of cards.
This is a lot of stuff.
Wait,
Yeah,
what was
I mean,
I
I'm
didn't
not-
hear the last thing. I didn't hear the
What
last
is a summoning ritual, if not just the rider for a dead person and or for whoever you're trying to summon?
Yeah, so like the first half of that was the material components of the ritual. The second half is my rider. So like, what you do is you carve a pattern into the candle. It doesn't need to be anything in particular, but it does need to feel important and resonant to you for the purpose of the ritual at hand. Then you light the candle, and by the candlelight, write with the ink on the paper an agenda for the meeting you want to have with me. Then you fold that up and burn it in the candle, and then put the piece of fluorite in the center of the summoning circle. If I find the terms of the meeting agreeable, I will show up. I'll take the silver immediately because I'm paid up front and there are no refunds. The water and grapefruit are there for if I get thirsty or hungry during the meeting. The deck of cards is so that I have something to do with my hands. And if we deviate from the agenda, I can end the summon early at my discretion. I will take all the silver, even if you cut us off 10 minutes in.
This is why you have summoning a bureaucratic demon would look like.
Yes. Also, are there chaos alternatives if you own a portion of your soul?
I was going to ask if you get a discount.
Can I just send a tweet saying, hey, you said you needed a body double. I'm going to nag you for the rest of the week. I also own a portion of your soul, and let you ignore it until you're ready to have somebody hang out with you?
I would recommend reading the fine.
This is a very specific example because I'm just calling TX out for asking for human interaction and then not being available for it.
I'm sorry. I was visiting family all week. It was hard to make time.
I know.
I can't pull it up right now because I'm on mobile, but if you go to my website, txwatson.com/my-soul, you can find that's where you can buy shares of my soul. You can also read the fine print, which does say, if I recall correctly, possession of this certificate does not entitle its bearer to any influence or control over the commodity's decisions, moral or otherwise, mortal or otherwise.
Explain to me again why you didn't go into contract law.
I can't do 80-hour work weeks.
Wait, I didn't hear the answer to that.
Oh,
What?
I just can't work that many hours. I would die.
Oh, fair. What'd you say, Jen? Sorry. So the first things that came to mind with regards to not Micah's question, but TX's unproposed question that he just walked us through, is I can think of things that would summon me, but I don't know if they'd summon Max. They might just summon me before I knew who I was. So you might get like Miriam instead.
That's interesting.
Because like the first thing that came to mind was, oh yeah, some like obscure Harry Potter book that means a lot to you.
See,
That has to get burned or creatively turned into something else for the cathartic purpose of destroying a Harry Potter book for funsies to make art.
After defacing it by saying that Gilderoy Lockhart is the author.
No, because Gilderoy Lockhart is horrible.
I mean,
Yeah, the author of the Harry Potter books is awful. We know that.
Yeah, but we know that. But I don't want.
Brand of awful.
Okay, but Gilderoy Lockhart awful and Voldemort awful are two very different types of awful, as is like Gilderoy Lockhart and Umbridge. Gilderoy Lockhart is just an idiot who wants attention.
And
Right, like J.K. Rowling.
He stole her fucking books from her.
Who like does morally wrong things with
Lockhart.
They're like
I'm not
people who do
defending
morally
J.K.
wrong things
Rowling.
with
I
their
want to put that
platform
out
for
there.
media attention and in order to promote their content.
Fair. Okay, fair.
Gilderoy Lockhart is Rowling's self-insert.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
unconscious
Jen
self-insert.
just walked in the room, said this, and walked away. She said, "Fuck, marry, kill, Lockhart, Umbridge, or Fudge. Go," and then walked away.
Oh no.
unalive.
No.
What?
No.
Unalive. The answer is unalive.
Everyone said they would vote to unalive.
I didn't.
Okay, TX did not.
I would unalive and then hang out with nearly headless Nick and Peeves for the rest of eternity.
Micah specifically says that she would unalive and then hang out with nearly headless Nick and Peeves for the rest of eternity.
Because the Bloody Baron's a blowhard.
Yeah, but I feel like you'd also get along with the Grey Lady.
I am also a jerk, so yes. But
Yeah.
that's
No, you have beef with the Bloody Baron, but you would hang out with the Grey Lady.
I would hang out with Peeves, let's be honest.
You would be Peeves's Peeves.
Yeah.
This is so true.
You would be the living nightmare of Peeves. Therefore, Filch would just no longer exist.
I will say, I think if you wanted to summon me, I mean, it would be like 3 to 4 miscellaneous teeth. A copy of the German pressing of Veruca Salt American Thighs 1993 LP. And a pack of clove cigarettes, because I'm gross. And probably several scented candles, but in scents that don't make sense together.
No.
Yeah, I feel like
what if you have sensory processing issues?
Well, then
it feels like you guys. My ritual was detailed. You guys' material components are way harder to get.
Yeah, but like also, I think that would not be all to get me. I think that with just the Harry Potter book and lighting it on fire alone, if it's signed by anybody who's been involved with any of it, you will get like a roll a d20 whether or not you will get me or me before I became me. And if you turn it into something creative and then burn it, you would definitely get Max. that could just be ripping it for the cathartic purposes of ripping up a Harry Potter book, which I did recently for my best friend's wedding. I will tell Jen that it is Jen with 2 N's, saying that the FMK is breaking Michael's brain. But like, I feel like there's other things. Like, there would have to be some kind of like intricate knot work involved. Like, there would have to be some like you need like green and purple and blue and like a bunch of different colored embroidery flosses that I could get very detailed into, like which DMC numbers you would need to like specifically get me. But I would have to like put some actual effort into that.
I just don't feel like my items are that hard to acquire. Like, most of them you can get on eBay.
Of course.
The hardest the hardest thing to acquire in the United States right now is the clove cigarettes.
You guys
are we taking this too literally? It's not a book that means a lot to you. It's not a record that means a lot to you. It's specifically this kind of book, or exactly this pressing of this record.
Listen, you have to play the record for me to show up.
Fair. I think that's reasonable. Yours is just a lot of steps and bureaucracy. Micah's is more of an auditory, sensory, scent experience, and mine is just go to Comic-Con. Because I still don't necessarily know what my personality is beyond things I like. Also,
is that not
technology?
That sounds kind of like it might be your whole ritual. Just go to Comic-Con, you'll find me there.
There's just like a whole series of post-it notes, look here
drafted Harry Potter book page, a knotted rope with the colors of green and blue in it, a TARDIS of some sort. It could be an action figure or a TARDIS, anything in between, and the name of your favorite clone, and I may show up in a TARDIS.
See,
does it have to be from Orphan Black, or can we do like Gandhi from Clone High?
I don't know what that is, but I think if you can relate it to Orphan Black, then yes. Which, as it being a clone, I can relate it to Orphan Black, then yes. There was a period of time where we were going to have a PowerPoint presentation night, and I was going to do a thing I never did, which was not tell anybody involved with it what I was going to present, because I normally like to chronically overshare what I want to do for a thing like that, like I do with everything else in my life.
I'm just saying, it's not hard.
It's not hard. You have it.
Yeah, but also, like, you already have it.
I was going to, for this PowerPoint presentation party, create an interactive grid, like web, of how I can relate absolutely anything to Orphan Black, and had gotten fairly far to the point where I was able to manage to include it to all of the people that would have been attending the party. Which wasn't that many people, but it was still like, it was like this really vague concept to like this very specific event, to Jell-O shots.
I mean, I could probably do that with Buffy.
Yeah.
We still haven't got material components from Arget or Rachel.
Well, I was gonna say too, like, now my mind's fucking blown at the idea of like rolling a d20, because I have like 20 names. You guys know like 3 of them, but I have like 20 names, and depending on which name, you're gonna get a vastly different freaking result. So
that's really interesting.
Because I have my given first name, but my parents brought me home, never called me. It went by my nickname of my middle name until I had my first non-familial traumatic event was somebody being like, Andrea, could you come to the office, please? And I'm just sat here like, wow, somebody has my same last name. Andrea, get over here. And like, you dumbass. And I'm like, what? What?
Did you not know that was your first name?
I didn't know my legal first name until somebody dropped it on me at school. And I went home and I had such a fucking fit to my parents. I'm like, you are never calling me by that name again. Call me by my first name. What the fuck is wrong with you?
That's so weird.
It was awful. It was awful. Never do that to your children, by the way. If you ever have children, always make sure that they know their full legal given name so that you don't traumatize them like I was. Okay, it was so bad. I had like 3 different nicknames throughout my school years, and then all of my online names, and then my college name then turned into at least one of my online names, and then it's just like, yeah. Plus there's all the roleplay characters. So
it's a D20 or a D100?
I think we're still safe capping it at 20. But I can't count anyway, so the number's still.
So just roll the percentile and then roll a D6.
Just roll a D20 and we'll make it work. And honestly, speaking of the points don't matter, is a quote, like your favorite quote from Whose Line Is It Anyway, or another kind of variety bullshit, hilarity like that is something that somebody would have to use as a component to summon me for sure.
Ooh.
What if
I couldn't remember at the time, but I happened to just have a Magic the Gathering card on me?
That would work too.
I know.
Especially bonus points if it's got an amazing flavor text.
Yes. Okay.
I feel like I could
now, if I remember
flavor
text. Sorry, TX, continue.
I feel like I could come up with a ritual for summoning my past self, but they wouldn't show up anyway because they're in a depression nap, so they're just going to blow it off.
That tracks.
Because in every stage of my life, though, I would show up out of guilt because I'd feel too guilty to not come and.
You would try to summon my past self, and they'd be stuck in a grippy sock vacation that they're not allowed to leave. Sorry.
That's funny. I feel like, I don't know if I said this, but I think that mine would also need an old piece of technology.
Oh my God, Leah,
technology can be a piece of technology. It can be
like a Razor flip phone or an Atari or.
But it could be whatever you consider to be a piece of technology that you're okay getting rid of, because you could summon me with your computer, but you might need that tomorrow.
How are we defining technology?
Up to the person, because you can define technology as a pencil if you try hard enough.
Is the technology reliably destroyed in the process?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm definitely using gender, a technology of control.
Exactly. It's up to the user, and you've beaten the system.
I like that you decided, how can I make this work for me?
Oh,
how can I do this without losing any piece of expensive tech that I own?
Not even that. How can I do this in a way that benefits me? Genuinely.
Yeah.
It would benefit everybody if we just broke gender for the world.
Yes.
I would love, if anybody ever wants to have an in-depth conversation with me about gender and the Wheel of Time, I just want to talk through all of the thoughts that I have, because the Wheel of Time is incredibly binary when it comes to gender and the magic mechanisms of the world. But gender isn't necessarily binary the way that it was in the 90s, or people thought it was in the 90s in mainstream high fantasy.
The Wheel of Inclined Plane.
And I just want to figure out how I would fit into this magic.
This is one of those items
love it
too.
So much.
And I understand that it can sometimes be kind of a hot button topic. So if this is too spicy, well, not spicy is not the right word, but some people, I've tried to have this conversation before too. Name of the Wind.
It's one of my favorite fucking books.
Never read it.
Oh,
It's actually one of my favorite things I've never read. I've listened to the audiobook like 100 times.
Yes.
But I tried
same.
reading it and I couldn't get through the first chapter. Because
Same.
it's told
Same
in
thing
first
with Lord of the Rings, honestly. I could never read it. If I wanted to. I love the movies.
Yeah.
I wanted to read the books. Could not get past the first chapter. But the Adem, they are a matriarchal society. And they acknowledge gender, but it's really like in the background.
Yeah.
I feel like in a lot of ways. And it's like, yeah, there's respect, but it's earned and whatever. And it's also because a lot of people find that whole story arc there as being like incredibly sexist. And I'm like, I think the words you are looking for is it's not patriarchal and you just divided your brain by 0 and you don't know what to do.
That definitely makes sense for that.
I'm gonna be honest, gender's not a thing that I like acknowledge or think about unless it's important to a person that I'm interacting with.
Same.
I will acknowledge it in so much as someone else wishes me to acknowledge it, but like it's not real, so I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things for me, so like within this world, the magic of this universe is that there is this true source that powers this wheel of time, and the wheel is weaving the pattern of time, like, and so it is churning out people, and some people can touch this source, and when they do, it's called like using the one power, and it has 2 different halves, and one half can be wielded by men, which is like kind of like anger, pain, and chaos. And for women, it's like calm serenity. And I have this theory, but I'm not that fluid gender. I am like a pretty strict, like neutral for the most part, with the exception of like last week. Where I was like having an identity crisis, that I have this theory where like maybe if you are fluid or non-binary, that whatever you wake up, like whatever you're feeling that day, you can channel whatever half like amount, and so like it changes your strength. Right. But like strength in channeling is something that's like super complex and like very specific in this universe. So like I could keep talking about it, but we've got 3 minutes. So does anybody want to plug anything? And does Rachel want to go and tell us how to summon them? Because I didn't forget that. I just continued to talk.
I've been struggling. I don't know, man. I feel like it would all be like really basic. I'm like a one-trick pony, so it would be like basic stuff like a calligraphy pen or something. There's gonna be a dead bird in there somewhere. It's gonna be like a rusty railroad spike, like I don't know, some edgy shit.
Dead bird, because that's plain.
I thought of a bonus. If you can sing the last note of "I'm Not That Girl," like that last line, you can summon me. You don't have to go to Comic-Con. If you have everything else and you can sing that note, doesn't have to be well, doesn't have to be in tune. But if you know what I'm talking about, because that's most people's skip song in Wicked.
Watch me just accidentally summoning you while I'm in the car singing along to my friggin' list of musicals.
You just happen to have everything else in your car. You fucked.
I've listened to most of Wicked, but I've never actually seen it.
We should fix that.
No, we don't have to. I'm gonna stop talking though, because we don't want to leave on a bad note. Anyway.
And this is jumping back a little bit in the conversation, but Micah reminded me of that TikTok that you sent me recently. The teacher talking to their students, and one of the kids was like, "Gender's not real, right?" And she's like, "Well, like it's complicated. Like, why are you asking?" Well, no Pokemon are real. He meant Gengar.
I don't know what happened, but your microphone just changed drastically on that.
You all of a sudden went to like old timey radio sound.
But just when you started saying
New gender just dropped. All genders are now gender.
Maybe we should tell Amelia that. Maybe that's their gender today.
Gender of the day.
It is 9 o'clock. We are at the end of the stream. Thank you all for coming. I'm not going to do the plugs again because we did them. I don't know.
Did them again.
We'll be back again on Thursday. I will be back at my computer, so we'll be doing the stream the normal way. Eventually, I will get my shit together enough that we will start having like planned, intentional guests on again. If you're a Toka member and you want to be on the stream, there is a form somewhere in the server to fill out to join us. Yeah,
we should repost that.
Does anybody else have anything we need to hit before we go?
If you would like to see more guests, supporting us on Patreon is a good way to help us do that because we do pay our guests when they come on. So.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming. Have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.
Oh, it's a kitty.